You won't believe what went down backstage. In a shocking leaked audio, Jim Jones loses it on Chrissy's husband after an intense confrontation, voices raised, threats thrown, and emotions running wild. Fans are calling it the most explosive moment in reality TV history, and the fallout is just getting started. Every second of this audio is packed with drama, secrets, and tension that you have to hear to believe. Who comes out on top and who gets burned? Backstage at one of the most anticipated love and hip-hop events of the year, the air was thick with tension before anyone even stepped foot on the stage. Chrissy's husband, usually calm and collected, was visibly on edge, pacing in the narrow hallway as producers whispered frantically, trying to keep the mood under control. Rumors had been swirling for days about a secret altercation, but nobody expected what was about to unfold. The moment Jim Jones entered the room, it felt like a hurricane had arrived. His face, usually guarded, was a mask of raw fury, and it was clear to everyone in the vicinity that whatever had been simmering had finally reached a boiling point. The audio leak captures every sharp inhale, every shouted word, and the chaos that followed. "What the hell are you doing?" Jim's voice roared, echoing off the concrete walls. His tone wasn't just anger, it was a combination of betrayal, disbelief, and pure rage. Chrissy's husband, taken aback, tried to respond, but the words stumbled out of his mouth, weak against the tidal wave of Jim's wrath. It's one thing to witness drama on camera, but this was unfiltered, uncensored reality. Everyone present later admitted that even the security team was frozen, unsure whether to step in or let the confrontation play out. Sources say the argument began with a leaked message that had been circulating for weeks. Jim had apparently found out about it mere hours before the showdown, and the tension had been building backstage like a powder keg. The message, a private exchange that was never meant to see the light of day, implicated Chrissy's husband in a scheme that could potentially harm multiple cast members' reputations. When confronted, his defensiveness only fueled Jim's fury. "Don't lie to me," Jim's voice cracked with intensity. "I saw everything. You think I don't know what's going on behind my back?" The line between professional decorum and personal vendetta blurred instantly. Leaked snippets of the audio reveal Chrissy's husband trying to defend himself, claiming he was misunderstood, that things weren't as they seemed, but Jim wasn't having it. Each rebuttal was met with sharper, more biting words. "Misunderstood." He shouted, "Misunderstood doesn't ruin lives. It doesn't drag people through the mud. Don't you dare come at me with excuses." Friends later confirmed that Jim's body language alone was enough to silence the room. He leaned forward aggressively, pointing, pacing, and gesturing in ways that made it impossible to ignore the magnitude of his anger. The confrontation quickly escalated, moving from verbal punches to physical tension. Security, now realizing this wasn't going to end peacefully, tried to step between them, but Jim waved them off, insisting on addressing the issue directly. His insistence wasn't just for drama. Insiders say he wanted accountability, demanded it, and would not leave until he got answers. Meanwhile, Chrissy's husband, cornered and flustered, was forced to navigate a minefield of accusations, unable to find solid ground in the torrent of Jim's wrath. Social media went wild as the leaked audio began to circulate. Fans dissected every second, replaying the moments where voices cracked, where names were dropped, and where subtle threats hinted at even deeper secrets. Twitter threads exploded with speculation. What was the original message? How long had Jim known this confrontation going to end careers? And most importantly, what would Chrissy's husband do next? Memes, reaction videos, and comment threads grew at an unprecedented pace, turning a backstage fight into a viral cultural moment, adding to the chaos. Insiders reported that other cast members were silently watching from nearby rooms, phones ready to record, hearts racing with anticipation. Some were scared. Others were thrilled at the prospect of secrets finally coming to light. One anonymous source claimed you could feel the electricity. People were frozen, not wanting to breathe wrong. You knew that whatever happened in that room would be talked about for months, and they were right. The intensity of the confrontation captured in the leaked audio painted a picture of a personal vendetta colliding with professional stakes in a way fans had rarely seen as the argument stretched on. Jim's words grew sharper, more pointed. He referenced past incidents, hinted at betrayal from unexpected allies, and made it clear that no one involved could escape the scrutiny. Chrissy's husband attempted to apologize, but each "I'm sorry" seemed to add fuel to Jim's fire. "Sorry doesn't fix this," Jim barked. "You think saying it changes the damage you've done? You've crossed a line that I cannot unsee." The intensity of his voice, combined with the raw emotion behind it, made it clear this wasn't just about a single incident. This was a culmination of months, maybe years, of perceived betrayal. By the time producers managed to calm the room slightly, the damage was done. Relationships were strained, alliances questioned, and the emotional fallout had already begun. Cast members who were previously neutral were now forced to pick sides. Chrissy's husband, shaken and embarrassed, realized that the confrontation was only the beginning. The leaked audio wasn't just a recording. It was evidence of the emotional and social earthquake that had just erupted backstage. Fans later speculated about the implications. Would this lead to on-camera fallout? Would it affect the upcoming season's storylines? And most importantly, would Jim Jones finally get the closure he demanded? Or would this escalate into something even more explosive? The answers remained uncertain. But one thing was clear. The Backstage Showdown had already rewritten the rules of engagement for everyone involved. Even after the confrontation, whispers lingered. Security confirmed that both men were visibly shaken, but neither backed down. Friends and insiders say the tension didn't dissipate. It merely shifted, simmering under the surface, waiting for the next spark. And with the leaked audio now circulating online, the entire world was waiting for that spark. The rawness, the emotion, the anger, and the betrayal. It was all there, unedited, impossible to ignore. By the end of that night, it was evident that what had started as a private confrontation had become a public spectacle. The leaked audio captured more than words. It captured a cultural moment. A window into the unfiltered chaos behind the scenes of reality television. And for fans hungry for drama, it was a feast. Every shout, every accusation, every crack in composure became a talking point. A thread for discussion, a viral moment destined to dominate headlines for weeks to come. And just when everyone thought the situation couldn't get any more explosive, the final seconds of the audio drop a bombshell. A name is mentioned. A secret hinted at. A line that ensures fans and cast alike are left with more questions than answers. The showdown was far from over, and the repercussions would ripple through every corner of their world. The tension, the fury, and the chaos. It all set the stage for what fans are already calling the most unforgettable reality TV moment of the year. And with the leaked audio still circulating, the world would be forced to watch, listen, and wait for the next chapter in this unrelenting saga. The next morning, the aftermath of the explosive confrontation backstage was impossible to ignore. Word had already spread across social media, fueled by the leaked audio that captured every heated word, every accusation, every moment of raw emotion. Fans dissected every second, replaying the exchanges and analyzing every inflection in Jim Jones' voice. For many, it was a rare glimpse behind the velvet curtain of reality TV, unfiltered, uncensored, and devastatingly real. Insiders revealed that Chrissy's husband had spent the night replaying the incident in his mind, unable to shake the embarrassment and the anger he felt at being cornered. Sources close to him said he was haunted by Jim's words, particularly the moments where Jim had called out not only his actions, but his intentions. He wasn't just angry, one friend said. It was exposing everything, all the lies, all the manipulation, everything that had been hidden from the cameras. Even those who had witnessed the argument in person admitted it was unlike anything they had ever seen in a reality show setting. The leaked audio didn't just capture the confrontation, it revealed layers of tension that had been building for months. Jim Jones referenced multiple past incidents, each one adding fuel to the fire. From disputes over business dealings to personal betrayals, every word was a reminder that what the audience saw on camera was only the tip of the iceberg. According to insiders, the moment that truly ignited Jim's fury was a revelation about messages that Chrissy's husband had sent. Messages that were meant to remain private but had been intercepted by a third party. Once Jim heard those messages, there was no going back, a source revealed. He knew everything, and he let it all out, raw and unfiltered. As the day progressed, the conversation backstage became a ripple that spread across the cast. Many cast members were forced to navigate the fallout carefully, unsure whether to intervene, stay neutral, or take sides. Some reached out to Chrissy's husband privately, offering support or advice, while others quietly reported the incident to producers, knowing it could become a central storyline in upcoming episodes. The tension was palpable, and the leaked audio made it impossible for anyone to ignore what had happened. Fans quickly began theorizing about the motivations behind the confrontation. Some speculated that Jim Jones had uncovered a long-standing betrayal that involved multiple cast members, while others suggested that personal grievances had finally reached a tipping point. Online discussions ranged from shock at the intensity of the argument to speculation about whether this incident would affect future showlines. Memes, reaction videos, and fan commentary multiplied by the hour, turning the leaked audio into a viral sensation. Meanwhile, Chrissy's husband was facing his own private storm. Despite the public attention, he was forced to confront the personal implications of Jim's accusations. It wasn't just about what happened backstage, an insider said. It was about the pattern of behavior that Jim had finally decided to call out, and once that was out in the open, there was no way to ignore it. Friends reported that he spent hours replaying the audio, trying to dissect every word and figure out how to respond. But the emotional weight was overwhelming. The confrontation also had professional consequences. According to sources, producers were worried that the incident could derail filming schedules and disrupt the planned storylines. They scrambled to manage the situation, coordinating with security, cast members, and legal teams to contain the damage. Yet with the leaked audio circulating online, containment seemed impossible. Every word Jim spoke, every emotional outburst was now public record. And the cast knew it would shape public perception for weeks, if not months. As the days passed, the intensity of the situation only grew. Chrissy's husband reportedly sought legal advice, concerned about potential defamation claims and the long-term impact of Jim's accusations. Meanwhile, Jim Jones was reportedly consulting with close friends and advisors about his next steps, considering whether to continue confronting those involved or to let the incident fade naturally. Insiders suggest that for Jim, this was not just a moment of anger. It was a statement about accountability. It's about calling out wrongdoing, and about asserting his presence in a world where deception often goes unchecked. The leaked audio itself became a cultural phenomenon. Fans dissected every word, noting the subtle tones, the pauses, the moments where Jim's voice cracked or surged with intensity. Each replay revealed new details, references to secret conversations, implied betrayals, and even hints at undisclosed conflicts that had yet to surface publicly. Online forums buzzed with speculation. Who else was involved? What secrets were still hidden? Could this confrontation spark a chain reaction of similar reveals across the cast? Even outside the immediate circle, the impact was felt. Social media personalities, bloggers, and influencers jumped on the story, analyzing the audio and speculating on its implications. Reaction videos accumulated millions of views, and fan forums became hubs of debate and discussion. Every snippet of the audio was scrutinized, from Jim's tone to Chrissy's husband's hesitant replies, creating a feedback loop of speculation and attention that only amplified the incident. Backstage, the personal stakes remained high. Sources close to the cast reported that relationships were strained, trust was fractured, and tensions were at an all-time high. For Chrissy's husband, the emotional toll was enormous. Balancing public scrutiny with private accountability proved nearly impossible. Friends revealed that he struggled to reconcile the reality of Sue's anger with the potential consequences for his family and his career. Every decision he made in the wake of the confrontation felt like a gamble with no clear path forward by the end of the week. The situation had evolved into a full-blown narrative, one that captivated fans and insiders alike. The leaked audio had transformed a private confrontation into a public spectacle, forcing everyone involved to confront the reality that nothing stays secret in the age of social media. Jim Jones' unfiltered outrage had become a defining moment, a benchmark for authenticity and accountability. While Chrissy's husband faced the daunting challenge of navigating both public perception and personal responsibility as the saga continued to unfold, the question on everyone's mind was simple. What comes next? Will the confrontation escalate further? Will secrets be revealed that make Jim's rage seem mild by comparison? And perhaps most importantly, how will the relationships within the cast survive this unprecedented storm? With the leaked audio as a permanent record, the answers remain uncertain. But one thing is clear: the Backstage Showdown has already rewritten the rules of engagement. And the fallout is far from over. The raw emotion, the intensity, and the unfiltered nature of the confrontation made it one of the most talked about moments in reality TV history. And with fans, influencers, and insiders dissecting every word, every pause, and every shout, the story was far from finished. The stage was set for the next explosive chapter, one that promised even more revelations, confrontations, and drama. In the weeks to come, the intensity backstage didn't die down. If anything, it escalated. Jim Jones, having made his feelings known in the leaked audio, was now pacing behind the stage, replaying the confrontation in his mind. His rage wasn't just fueled by the moment. It was a culmination of months of pent-up frustration and betrayal. Cast members gave him space, whispering among themselves about what had just happened. Nobody wanted to be the next target, and yet everyone was glued to the spectacle. Chrissy's husband, meanwhile, retreated into a corner of the green room, replaying the audio repeatedly. Each playback dug the knife deeper. Jim's accusations were precise, cutting through years of carefully constructed facades. Friends describe him as haunted, his face pale, hands shaking as he tried to rationalize what had just happened. Legal advice had already been sought, but emotionally, he felt trapped. This wasn't just a legal or professional issue. It was deeply personal. The fallout wasn't contained to the immediate cast. Within hours, social media had erupted. Fans created thread after thread, analyzing every word Jim had spoken. Reaction videos went viral, memes flooded timelines. And hashtags like #JimJonesExplodes and #BackstageDrama began trending nationally. Commentators speculated endlessly. Was this the beginning of a larger feud? Were there more secrets waiting to be uncovered? Every rumor fueled the narrative, and the cast's personal lives were now open for public scrutiny. Producers scrambled to regain control of the situation. A series of emergency meetings were held, security was increased, and cast members were warned to avoid further confrontations. Yet the reality was that the damage was done. The leaked audio was out, circulating on every platform, and the narrative had already taken a life of its own. For producers, the challenge was not only to manage the cast, but also to manage the storylines that were now being dictated by real-life tension rather than scripted drama. Backstage, tensions continued to rise. Jim, still fueled by anger, confronted other cast members who had indirectly contributed to the situation. "You knew," and stayed silent. He shouted at one producer, his voice echoing through the hallways. "Everyone's complicit if they don't act." His words were not just a venting of frustration, they were a warning. Jim's message was clear: deception and betrayal would not go unnoticed. And accountability was non-negotiable. Chrissy's husband, despite his fear, eventually emerged from hiding, attempting to reconcile with Jim privately. Sources say he approached cautiously, offering explanations and apologies. But Jim, while listening, made it clear that mere words couldn't undo the damage. "You think saying sorry fixes years of lies?" Jim's words cut deep. "It's about actions, accountability, and integrity. That's what you failed to uphold." The conversation, though tense, marked the beginning of a fragile truce. But trust had already been shattered. Outside the immediate circle, fan reactions intensified. Social media was a storm of debate, with supporters of Jim praising his courage to confront the truth, while others criticized the public exposure of personal conflicts. Influencers, bloggers, and podcasters dissected every syllable of the audio, speculating on hidden agendas, secret alliances, and the possible repercussions for the cast's careers. The leaked audio wasn't just a scandal. It had become a cultural moment, one that sparked conversations about loyalty, truth, and the fine line between entertainment and real-life consequences. Meanwhile, the emotional toll on Chrissy's husband became increasingly apparent. Friends describe him as withdrawn, sleeping poorly, and struggling with the weight of public judgment. Even those who supported him privately noted that the incident had exposed vulnerabilities he hadn't anticipated. "It's like the world is watching every thought he has," one insider said, "and there's no escaping it." The confrontation, once confined to a backstage moment, had morphed into an ongoing, inescapable reality. The cast itself wasn't immune to the drama. Long-standing alliances were tested, friendships strained, and loyalties questioned. Members who had previously considered themselves neutral found themselves caught in the crossfire. Rumors of secret meetings, whispered conversations, and behind-the-scenes plotting swirled, creating a tense environment that was impossible to ignore. The backstage area had transformed from a professional space into a battlefield of emotional stakes and personal accountability. As the week progressed, Jim's confrontation began to have professional consequences. Network executives monitored public reaction closely, concerned that the incident might overshadow the show's planned storylines. Yet, ratings data revealed an unexpected silver lining. Viewership was spiking. Fans couldn't get enough of the unfiltered drama, and the leaked audio had become a major talking point. While the cast grappled with real-life repercussions, the network faced the challenge of balancing authenticity with production control. Chrissy's husband eventually made a public statement, carefully worded to acknowledge the incident without inflaming the situation further. He admitted mistakes and expressed a desire to move forward, but avoided taking full responsibility for the complex web of backstage conflicts. While some praised his attempt at accountability, others criticized it as insufficient, noting that Jim's raw, unfiltered confrontation had already shaped public perception far more effectively than any statement could. By the time filming resumed, the atmosphere remained charged. Every interaction, every glance carried the weight of previous confrontations. Jim Jones, while calmer, maintained a vigilant presence, ensuring that any further deception would be immediately addressed. Chrissy's husband, though trying to regain composure, knew that trust was fragile and that one misstep could reignite tension. Every cast member was acutely aware that the Backstage Showdown had rewritten the rules of engagement, and that personal accountability would be scrutinized more closely than ever. Fans continued to dissect the situation in real time, creating an endless feedback loop of commentary, memes, and analysis. Every minor interaction between cast members became fodder for speculation, while influencers and podcasters debated possible long-term repercussions. The leaked audio had not just captured a moment, it had captured a movement. A turning point in reality TV history where unfiltered truth collided with manufactured entertainment. In the end, the confrontation served as a stark reminder. Backstage, realities often outshine scripted drama. The leaked audio exposed not only the fractures in personal relationships, but also the emotional intensity that exists behind the scenes. Jim Jones' unfiltered rage and demand for accountability left a lasting impression, demonstrating that even in a world of cameras and stage scenarios, honesty and confrontation can change everything. As the dust began to settle, the lasting lesson became clear. The repercussions of truth, once revealed, cannot be undone. Chrissy's husband would forever be marked by the confrontation, while Jim Jones' courage to speak openly would be remembered by fans and insiders alike. What began as a single, explosive moment backstage had transformed into a saga that redefined relationships, reputations, and the very fabric of the show itself. Even as new storylines emerged, the shadow of the Backstage Showdown lingered. Cast members remained vigilant, aware that any new conflict would be measured against the benchmark set by Jim's confrontation. Social media continued to buzz, reminding everyone that once the truth is out, it can never truly be contained. In this world of reality TV, the lines between performance and reality are blurred. But moments like this, raw, emotional, and undeniable, leave an indelible mark. And as fans waited for the next chapter, one thing was certain: the leaked audio would not be forgotten. And the impact of that Backstage Showdown would echo for years to come. What do you think about Jim Jones' explosive confrontation? Was he right to call Chrissy's husband out, or did he take it too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your side of the story. Don't forget to like if you're shocked by the leaked audio. Share this video with your friends who love reality TV drama.
Nice.
And subscribe to Celebrity Trap for all the latest backstage reveals, exclusive scandals, and viral celebrity confrontations. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. The next scandal could be even bigger, and you'll want to be the first to see it.